Corpses. To most of us they mean decay and death, but for the rich and desperate of the 16th and 17th centuries, corpses were a medicine. A cure for everything from headaches to broken bones. I'm Sticky Nick, and today we're exploring how people thought eating dead bodies could save them, including brain pate and, well, blood jam. Brace yourselves. Kicking off, we have a breakfast spread that's a little unconventional. Blood marmalade. Delicious, right? In 1492, Pope Innocent VIII was dying. His doctors thought drinking the blood of 3 young boys might save him. The theory was that the vitality of the young blood could revive the aging body, but it didn't. Spoiler alert, everyone died. The boys died from the bloodletting, and the Pope followed shortly after. But hey, why let all that blood go to waste? Imagine being so desperate for survival that you'd eat a kid's blood for breakfast. By the late 1600s, blood became a marmalade gourmet ingredient. People dried it, cooked it down, and spread it on toast like strawberry jam. Blood was thought to contain the essence of life, and consuming it was believed to pass on that energy. I guess nothing starts the morning like coagulated human juice on sourdough. At number 9, we've got a sweet treat that'll make you rethink candy. Mellified man, also known as human rock candy. In ancient Arabia and China, aged monks would eat nothing but honey until their bodies were soaked with it. The practice was seen as an ultimate act of sacrifice, allowing them to become a medicine even after death. Once they died, their honey-soaked corpses would be stored in giant jars for a century. The result? A human body crystallized into candy. People believed eating pieces of this mellified man could heal broken bones and other ailments. The idea was that the honey preserved the spiritual and medicinal essence of the person, making it a potent remedy for various illnesses. The practice was first recorded by a Chinese pharmacologist, Li Shizhen, in the 16th century. He described it as a process where the person volunteered to be mellified to help the sick even after death. Forget about rotting your teeth, this one will eat away at your sanity too. And number 8, we're getting under the skin, literally, human fat. Human fat was a prized ingredient in medieval Europe, particularly in Germany. Doctors believed it could cure gout, arthritis, and even bruises. They would rub it on swollen joints or soak bandages in it to heal wounds. The reasoning? The fat of the human was believed to have a special potency that could transfer vitality and health to the living. Executioners often sold the fat from recently executed criminals to apothecaries who processed it for medical use. The fat was thought to retain some vital essence and warmth, making it particularly effective against inflammation and pain. The fatter the corpse, the better the medicine, because nothing says effective treatment quite like a generous helping of your late Uncle Frank. At Lucky 7, we've got a drink to die for, powdered skull hot chocolate. During the 17th century, powdered skulls were considered a cure-all for various ailments, from seizures to internal bleeding. King Charles II himself enjoyed a nice drink called King's Drops, which was a mix of alcohol and powdered human skulls. It was believed that consuming the remains of a human, especially the skull, could imbue the drinker with vitality and alleviate their ailments. King Charles wasn't the only one who believed a powdered skull could cure ailments. The idea that the skull, as the brain's container, retained some of the power of the mind and spirit was based on the belief that the skull, as the brain's container, retained some of the power of the mind and spirit. The skull was also used to treat apoplexy, a sudden loss of consciousness often associated with stroke, by supposedly restoring the essence of the brain. Powdered skull was also recommended in hot chocolate to treat apoplexy, essentially a stroke. The belief was that the skull contained the essence of the brain which could help with neurological issues. Turns out powdered skull doesn't just warm you up, it also lights up your brain, whether you want it to or not. We've got a skull moss at number 6. Yes, moss harvested from human skulls, nature's dark remedy. Skull moss, or usnea, was believed to be a potent medicinal agent. From the 17th century until World War II, people used moss grown on human skulls to treat nosebleeds, epilepsy, and other conditions. The theory was that the moss growing on the skull had absorbed the essence of death, giving it the power to influence the living. According to 17th century herbalists, skull moss was especially potent if harvested from the skull of a violent death victim. It was thought that the manner of death imparted special powers to the moss, enhancing its ability to cure, because nothing screams natural cure like inhaling moss that grew on someone's decaying skull. Number 5. Drinking criminal blood. A cure that's as grim as it is misguided. In the 16th century, it was believed that the blood of an executed criminal contained potent, life-giving energy. Epileptics would gather at executions, cups in hands, waiting to drink the still warm blood of the condemned. The belief was that the condemned criminal's life force, full of adrenaline and vigour, could transfer into the drinker and ward off epileptic seizures. The practice of drinking fresh blood wasn't exclusive to medieval Europe. The Romans also believed in the healing power of blood, especially that of gladiators who died in the arena. They thought that drinking the blood of these fighters could imbue them with the warrior's vitality and cure ailments, especially epilepsy. Because nothing says health kick like sipping fresh blood straight from a gladiator. Cheers to that. At number 4, we have a cure straight from the heart, pulverized human heart for dizziness. In the 17th century, it was believed that consuming powdered human heart could help cure dizziness and vertigo. Many authorities at the time, including preacher John Keogh, recommended a dram of powdered human heart as a morning remedy on an empty stomach. The belief was that consuming the vital organ would restore balance, both figuratively and literally. Forget apples, a heart a day keeps the dizziness away. Taking the bronze medal, we have a remedy wrapped in mystery, mummy powder. During the Renaissance and well into the 18th century, ground-up mummies were a popular cure-all. People believed mummy powder could treat anything from headaches to ulcers. This all started with a mistranslation. People confused the Persian word mumia, which referred to medicinal bitumen, with the resin used in mummification. Seizing the opportunity, apothecaries began harvesting and selling powdered mummies as medicine. Mummy powder was so popular that when real mummies ran out, sellers resorted to using remains of criminals or recently deceased bodies. Why let the details get in the way of a booming business? Nothing says health boost like snorting ancient royalty. At number 2, we have a remedy that's as uncomfortable as the condition it claims to cure, the sweats of the dying for hemorrhoids. In the 17th century, sweat from someone about to be executed was believed to have magical healing properties. Physicians like George Thompson claimed that the terror-soaked sweat of a condemned person was the ultimate cure for hemorrhoids. The theory was that the fear and suffering experienced in their final moments would imbue their sweat with a powerful energy that could terrify hemorrhoids right back into submission. Practitioners would collect the sweat with a sponge or cloth and then apply it directly to the affected area. It was a desperate measure, especially when you consider how many hoops you'd have to jump through to get your hands on sweat from someone about to die. They weren't wrong about it being an intense experience. Talk about a literal pain in the ass. And finally, at number 1, the gold medal for the most stomach-turning medicinal practice goes to brain pate, steeped in horse dung. It's a delicacy, apparently, and also a supposed treatment for epilepsy. In the 17th century, a French physician named Jean-Baptiste Denis recommended a truly vile concoction for epilepsy, human brain pate, mixed with wine and left to ferment in horse dung. The idea was to capture the strength of the brain and the vital energy of the horse. According to the recipe, it had to be the brain of a young man who died a violent death. The organs were combined with wine and sealed in a container, then buried in horse dung for weeks until the mixture was ready. This was meant to transfer the resilience of both the horse and the deceased into the patient. Because when your doctor says horsepower, they mean it, literally. Well, folks, that wraps up our gallery of ghastly corpse cures. Could you stomach any of these? Let us know in the comments, and if you're hungry for more horrifying history, hit that subscribe button. See you in the next nightmare. Thanks for watching. If you survived this video, you're tougher than most 17th century doctors. Be sure to check out our other weird history content, and remember, just because it's historical doesn't mean it's not horrifying. See you next time.